So now let us start with ratio analysis, right? Okay, there would be something which is written on the slide. There would a lot of things which I would be talking on a particular ratio. So it's all about making notes in case if you think that that is important to you for you to note it down, right? So let's start with the ratio analysis, and a very simple definition of a ratio, and this we have already studied when we were doing mathematics at some point of time, right? So ratio is basically a relationship between two or more variables. A ratio is a relationship between two or more variables. और हम finance पढ़ रहे हैं. We are studying financial ratios. So what is this? A ratio is basically a relationship between two or more financial factors in a business. Is it okay? Right? So a ratio is a relationship between two or more variables, and this is a tool which is normally used to evaluate, to assess the financial performance of a company, how well the company is doing, right? So as an investor, if we have to invest money in a company, right, we do not invest money in a company just because we admire someone, or this is an industrialist, this is a financial wizard person, and we admire him, and that is the reason we invest in a company. If that is the reason, then let me tell you, we should not invest. Admiring a person is different than investing money in a company. So we have to invest not in a company, in a person, but we have to invest money in a business. And sitting in 2022, you can visualize that in next 10 years from now, next 15 years from now, कौन से ऐसे बिजनेस होंगे जो फ्लरिश करेंगे, जो ग्रो करेंगे, जो एक्सपैंड करेंगे, right? So instead of putting in money just because of a person you like, or just because you can say the company you like, it is better you start investing money in businesses. किसी ने भी नहीं सोचा था कि टाइटन एक जैसी कंपनी 2001 में जिसका 10 रुपए का शेयर था आज वो 2500 का होगा. किसी ने भी नहीं सोचा था कि टाटा एलेक्सी जो कोविड के टाइम में 600-700 रुपए का शेयर था वो 2 साल के अंदर 10,000 रुपए तक पहुंच जाएगा. बिल्कुल समझ गया था, राइट? सो देयर लॉट ऑफ दैट इज व्हाट यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड, दैट आप लोग जब पैसा इन्वेस्ट करोगे, कभी भी कहीं पे भी करोगे, तो आपको कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना, आपको इंडिविजुअल में इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना, आपको बिजनेस में इन्वेस्ट करना है. अब बिजनेस में इन्वेस्ट करना और कौन से बिजनेस में इन्वेस्ट करना है, फॉर दिस वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी दिस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक, दैट इज रेशियो एनालिसिस, राइट? कुछ हद तक ये हमको हेल्प करता है, बट लेट मी टेल यू दिस इज अगेन नॉट अ फुल प्रूफ काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग, बिकॉज ये केवल क्वांटिटेटिव फैक्टर्स है. देयर इज लॉट ऑफ क्वालिटेटिव फैक्टर्स व्हिच वी हैव टू कंसीडर बिफोर इन्वेस्टिंग मनी इन अ कंपनी. हम क्या करेंगे, यहाँ पे प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस होगा, बैलेंस शीट होगा, हम उसको एनालाइज करेंगे. तो वी आर ओनली सीइंग द क्वांटिटेटिव एस्पेक्ट ऑफ अ कंपनी. बाकी देयर आर अदर क्वालिटेटिव एस्पेक्ट व्हिच वी हैव टू कंसीडर बिफोर इन्वेस्टिंग इन अ कंपनी. जैसे कंपनी का प्रोडक्ट क्या है, उसके कॉम्पिटिटर्स कौन कौन है, कंपनी यू कैन से टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन है, या यू कैन से टेक्नोलॉजी में भी है तो कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर है, राइट? उसका मार्केट कौन से मार्केट में ऑपरेट करती है, केवल रीजनल मार्केट में ऑपरेट करती है या ग्लोबल मार्केट में ऑपरेट करती है. क्लियर? आने वाले 10 साल क्या इस बिजनेस के हैं या नहीं है? अभी जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल एवरीवन इज टॉकिंग अबाउट इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स, ईवीज. तो आने वाला जो 10 साल है, हो सकता है वो ईवी का हो, आने वाले 15 साल ईवी के हो सकते हैं, राइट? People are talking about technology now after COVID. Most of the businesses have gone online. Education online हो गया. जहां पहले वो ऑफलाइन होता था, अभी स्कूल्स के अंदर भी ऑनलाइन है. अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम आता है तो कहते हैं ऑनलाइन पढ़ा देते हैं. ऑनलाइन कोचिंग, it is a big business now, right? द होम मेकर्स जो जिनका एकेडमिक क्वालिफिकेशन बहुत बेटर है, जो academic oriented हैं, they were sitting at home. So now they have also started online classes, taking online classes. Cooking है, किसी ने नहीं सोचा था cooking केवल kitchen में हो सकती है. Now people have started joining online cooking classes and they are learning this trade. और सीखने के बाद they have started their own venture, right? So let this particular topic, it basically talks about the performance of an organization, but we only talk about quantitative things, quantitative factors. But again, before investing, there are qualitative factors which you have to consider, right? So ratio analysis is a study of relationship among various financial factors in a business. Clear? Now, when we study this ratio analysis, these ratios, they are expressed, right? Either they are expressed in terms of, you can say, A upon B form. So every ratio has an expression, right? First, they can be expressed in terms of A upon B. There will be a numerator, denominator, right? The second form of expressing this ratio is in percent. Some ratios will be expressed in terms of percent, right? Another ratio, it will be expressed in terms of times. Some of the ratios will be expressed in times. How many times it has happened in a year, right? Clear? And the fourth one, where the ratios can be expressed, it is in terms of rupees. So these are basically what are we talking about? When we calculate these ratios, they are either expressed in any of these forms. A is to B, rupees, percent, times. Is it okay? Clear? Okay. Now let us understand the objective. Why ratio analysis is a very important tool, right? Now for any investor who would like to invest in a company, they have to study the balance sheet, they have to study the statement of profit and loss. Now to study them, when they study it, they come to know a lot of things about a company. So financial ratios objective, why we have to study it, why we have to do it. The first reason of doing financial ratio, studying financial ratio, is that it analyzes the profitability position of a company. It analyzes the profitability position of a company. Is it okay? Now, when I say profitability, so there are two terms. One is the profit, another is the profitability. The difference between these two is, right, is that I'm writing two statements here. The company earns a profit of rupees 100 in financial year 22-23. Is it okay? The company has earned rupees 100 as a profit in financial year 22-23. Another is a statement, the profitability of a company has increased from the last year. Now these are two statements. The first statement where we talked about the company का 100 रुपए का प्रॉफिट हुआ 22-23 में, तो ये we are getting an exact figure कितने का प्रॉफिट हुआ. So profit is an absolute measure. Profit क्या है? Absolute measure है. It is an absolute measure. Here we exactly know how much profit the company has made in one financial year. The second one is here we say पिछले साल से इस साल कंपनी का प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी बढ़ गया. अब कितना बढ़ गया ये डिफाइन नहीं है. We do not know, but yes, we know that the profitability has increased. So it is a relative measure. It is a relative measure, right? So when we study profitability ratio, we will come to know whether this company is a profitable company or not. I'm coming to that, right? this company is a profitable company or not, right? Now, this profitability ratio, it is calculated in percent. All profitability ratios are calculated in percent. Is it okay? Understood? Because we are finding the return. We are finding the return, and returns are always in percent. The second important objective of financial ratio is that it helps in determining the liquidity position of a company. When we talk about liquidity, we are talking about the cash and cash equivalents. What are we talking about? Cash and cash equivalents. कि कंपनी का कैश कन्वर्जन रेशियो कैसा है? आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? कंपनी का लिक्विडिटी पोजीशन कैसा है? कंपनी का is the company is able to, you can say company has lot of assets, right? They could have, let's say, 10 acres of land, right? It has a huge land and building. Company has, let's say, 4 buses. If it is a transport company, or 10 buses, company is running its business. But point ये है कि क्या कंपनी की लिक्विडिटी पोजीशन ठीक है? क्या कंपनी की कैश पोजीशन ठीक है? That's important. When I say liquidity position, means the company is able to pay off its short-term liabilities easily or not. Otherwise, it is a problem, right? That is what we were talking about. अगर liquidity position better होगी, तो automatically the solvency position भी company की better होगी. So we also assess the solvency position of the business. So solvency means whether the company is able to meet its obligations timely or not. अब कंपनी की जो सॉल्वेंसी पोजीशन होती है, इट मींस कंपनी अपने क्रेडिटर्स को, अपने सप्लायर्स को, अपने वेंडर्स को, अपने डेट होल्डर्स को, बैंक्स को, फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस को जब भी कोई लायबिलिटी ड्यू होती है, कंपनी उसको पे ऑफ कर देती है. So solvency position, when we study the solvency position of a company, we study short term solvency as well as long term solvency. शॉर्ट टर्म सॉल्वेंसी मींस विद इन 1 ईयर जो भी कंपनी की लायबिलिटीज हैं, जो भी ड्यू हैं, कंपनी उनको आसानी से पे ऑफ कर रही है. और लॉन्ग टर्म मींस विच हैज अ लाइफ मोर देन अ ईयर, जिसका मैच्योरिटी पीरियड 1 साल से ज्यादा होता है. जैसे आप कोई भी इंडिविजुअल की बात करें, किसी ने होम लोन ले लिया, किसी ने 20 ईयर्स का होम लोन लिया है, किसी ने पर्सनल लोन लिया है 5 ईयर्स का. इट्स ए लॉन्ग टर्म, राइट? So whether that individual, whether that company is able to meet its obligations or not, that will decide whether company is solvent or not. अगर मैं पे ऑफ कर पा रहा हूं आसानी से तो मैं सॉल्वेंट हूं, और नहीं कर पा रहा हूं तो मैं इंसॉल्वेंट हूं. और मैं अगर नहीं पे कर पाऊंगा, that leads to bad credibility of that company in the market. That is the reason there are a lot of NPAs happen. हम लोन लेते हैं, कंपनीज लोन लेती हैं, पे ऑफ नहीं कर पाती, राइट? एंड दे डिफॉल्ट, राइट? डिफॉल्ट करते हैं, आप एनपीए में कन्वर्ट हो जाते हो, मार्केट में आपकी गुडविल, क्रेडिबिलिटी वो डिमोलिश हो जाती है, लोग आपसे बिजनेस नहीं करना चाहते हैं, राइट? एंड एट वन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम द कंपनी डिक्लेयर देमसेल्फ बैंकक्रप्ट, राइट? सो बैंक एंड फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, सप्लायर्स, वेंडर्स उन पे केस करते हैं. दे गेट एंटर इनटू लीगल इश्यूज, लीगल केसेस एंड टेक देम टू द कोर्ट, राइट? या well, as such, if you talk about it varies from industry to industry and company to company. Please, ideal ratios होते हैं, they're ideal ones, they're standard ones. But remember, when we actually work, those ideals, they don't work. A banking industry which is operating would be very different from FMCG, right? So how can you have a standard for each one of the company which is operating in a different industry, right? Ideals are there, no doubt. We will come to know later on about it. Okay. Another one is to assess the operational efficiency of the business. Operational efficiency means whatever resources the company has, they have to be put to the best use. कंपनी के पास जो भी एसेट्स हैं, कंपनी उनको efficiently, effectively utilize करे to generate more revenue for the company. Ultimately, every company which is doing business, their main objective is to generate revenue, to earn more profits, right? So, जो भी resources है, whether you call it a human resource, whether you call it money, material, or any other resource, it has to be put to the best use. Clear? So, operational efficiency, company जो भी business कर रही है, वो efficiency उसमें है या नहीं है, efficiently resources को utilize किया है या नहीं किया है. That is what this ratio will calculate, help us in assessing this operational efficiency of the business. Now, this ratio also help us in comparative analysis. Comparative analysis in the sense that, like you guys, every student, we study for the whole year, for the whole semester, right? Lot of tests happen. You give your midterm and you give your end term. And at the end of the day, right, for example, you at the end of the semester, you get your report card. That's an academic report card. Now, that academic report card, it talks about your performance. It talks about your performance, right? In this semester, how you performed. Second semester you reached, again you study, and you have your report card in your hand. Whether I have done well, better than the previous semester or not. That is my academic report card. In the same manner, every company, they have a financial statement, and every year financial statement are analyzed. So, when in sitting in 2022-23, for example, and if we compute the ratios of this financial year, we compare it with the previous year or last 5 years, and we come to know whether the company has done well or not. Is it okay? So, comparative analysis is very important, because only then the company will be able to take decisions. If the company has to grow, what the company decisions have to take, what decision the company has to take to increase their sales, to increase their market share, to be the market leader in an industry. वो डिसीजन तभी लेगा जब वो इन फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट को स्टडी करेगा, एनालाइज करेगा और टूल्स को अप्लाई करेगा और इंटरप्रेट करेगा रिजल्ट्स को, राइट? सो जो कंपैरेटिव एनालिसिस होता है वो इंट्रा फर्म होता है और इंटर फर्म होता है, राइट? वन विद इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मींस comparing the current year with the previous year, and another is when, let's say, IT sector, information technology sector. अब इस IT sector में there are lot of players are there. HCL टेक्नोलॉजी भी है, इन्फोसिस है, विप्रो है, टेक महिंद्रा है. अगर मैं बोलूं कि टेक महिंद्रा इस पूरे आईटी सेक्टर में कैसा परफॉर्म कर रही है एज कंपेयर टू इन्फोसिस, विप्रो, एक्सेंचर एंड सो ऑन. So that is what you call an inter-firm analysis. Is it clear or not? Understood? Right? So these are certain objectives. These are certain objectives of financial ratios. Now, let us see what, if we are here, we are not here to just to calculate ratios. We have to understand, we have to learn the analytical part also. When we calculate a particular ratio, we should know what that ratio it is communicating to us. So we would like to interpret, we would like to analyze every single ratio we calculate. Clear? So time series analysis, that's the first standard of comparison. Here what we do, we compare the current year figure with the previous year figure, right? So for example, my sales was 100 rupees last year. This year my sales is 150. This year my profit is, let's say, 80 in 1 year, and in second year we have 70, for example. Let us understand with the help of an example. These are 2 years, 20x1 and 20x2. My sales is 100 rupees here, 150 rupees here. My profit here is, let's say, 40 rupees, and here my profit is 60, for example. Is it okay? Is it okay? Right? So what we have to do, we have to calculate. By seeing this, we will say, oh, our profit has increased. So the company would have done well. Because my profit, it has increased from 40 to 60 now. But does actually the company has done well in this particular financial year? So we have to calculate the profit percent. Let's say my profit percent is how much? My profit percent is 40 upon 100 into 100, which is equal to 40%, and this is 60 upon 150 into 100. How much it is? So the company has not improved in terms of profit percent. No doubt, absolute measure, my profit has increased, but my sales has also increased. But my profit percent, it has remained same. So my performance has not gone up. My performance has not improved. Is it clear? Right? देखने से लग रहा है कि 40 से 60 हो गया तो बेटर हो गया, बट एक्चुअल में जब प्रॉफिट परसेंट कैलकुलेट किया, सो देयर इज नो इंप्रूवमेंट. Clear? So when we compare in this standard of comparison, we compare the current year ratios with the previous year ratios, right? And what it indicates the direction of change. When I say direction of change, this change here we saw that it remained same, right? For example, if my this ratio would have been, let's say 100 rupees, for example, right? So it would be 100 upon 150 into 100, right? So what we would have got approximately, it would be 65%, right? So my profit percent has improved. So direction of change means whether my this ratio, it has gone up, it has gone down, or it has remained same. Clear? So that is what you call time series analysis. Next comparison which we will be doing in ratio analysis is cross sectional analysis. In cross sectional analysis, we compare one company with some selected companies within the same industry. Like I gave you I just shared an example with you of an IT sector. Now in that IT sector, we have lot of companies are there, right? In this IT sector, we have lot of companies are there. We have Infosys, we have Wipro, right? We have Accenture, we have, you can say, HCL Technologies. Now, in this, for example, if I would like to invest money in Infosys, before investing, I would see how Infosys is doing in this particular sector as compared to other players. So यहाँ पे हम क्या करते हैं, एक कंपनी को दूसरी कंपनी के साथ कंपेयर करते हैं, बट विद इन द सेम इंडस्ट्री. यू कैन नॉट कंपेयर Infosys with Britannia, please, because they both belong to different sector. Is it okay? Right? This is known as inter-firm comparison, inter-firm analysis, right? The third one is an industry analysis. The third one is an industry analysis. So in this, what we saw an industry. This is an IT industry. We saw that these are some of the players, and I would like to invest money in Infosys. So what I will do, that instead of comparing this, every industry, it has its own average. It has its own average. Just to give you an example, in MBA, SOL, right? In accounting paper, in the end term exam, the student's average is, let's say, 78 out of 100. This is the average marks scored by student in accounting paper in MBA SOL. Clear? Now, some of you would score less than this, some of you would score more than this, or some of you would score exactly same, right? So here you can do the analysis. Now this is a class average. So for example, if I have scored, let's say 82, it means I have scored more than the class average. right? So I've done well. And if I scored, let's say 62, means the class average was 78 and I've scored 62, so I've not done well, right? So I will come to know where exactly I stand in my class. In the same manner, a company, when they compare themselves in industry, they come to know where exactly they stand in that sector. Is it okay? Clear? Right? So it helps in ascertaining the financial standing and capability of the company vis-a-vis other companies in the industry. Is it clear? तभी तो रैंकिंग होता है ना, ऑटो सेक्टर के अंदर नंबर 1, नंबर 2, नंबर 3 ये हैं, नंबर एफएमसीजी में नंबर 1, 2, 3, 4 ये हैं. हाउ दे आर एबल टू डू दैट? Clear? It is just because when we compare that particular company with the industry average. Clear? Understood? Right. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Now, before we move further, let us understand what are the types of ratios we would be studying here. Types of, or the categories of financial ratios. The first type we would be studying here is profitability ratios. Profitability ratios. The second one which we would be studying here is the liquidity ratios. Right? The third one in this category we would be studying is the turnover ratios. Right? The next one here we would be studying solvency ratios. And the fifth one we would be studying is the market value ratios. Market value ratios. Now all these ratios are important. Clear? So there are many ratios which are calculated, but understand if you are investing money in a company, there are certain ratios which you have to always refer before investing. Clear? Let's say एक छोटा सा example है. There are two companies. There are two companies. Before I talk about these, there is a company which has a debt of 100 rupees. There is a company which has a debt of 0. Right? So this company has more debt as compared to B. Debt means this company is having liability on its head. This company has liability on its head. So when this company has more debt, it means company's financial cost is high. Company has more financial cost. What is the financial cost on debt? What is the financial cost on debt? Interest, right? Interest, right? So financial cost. So more the financial cost, more is the financial risk. More is the financial risk. So the companies which have more debt, they are exposed to more financial risk. Now you as an investor, we have to decide, we have to park our money in a company which has more debt, or in a company which has no debt, or where debt equity ratio should be how much? Whether it should be less than 1, it should be more than 1. So this is one ratio which we have to, like I've just given you an example. So when we study financial ratios, we come to know how much should be the debt equity ratio before we park money in a company, right? Whether it has to be more than 1 or it has to be less than 1. So if we talk about this company does not have a debt, right? So no financial cost, no financial risk. So the chances of being insolvent is is almost negligible. Risky nahi hai. So that is the reason we saw that in the market there are a lot of companies which have huge debt on their head, and because of that huge debt they are not able to perform well also, right? हर समय कुछ ना कुछ financial crunch company में बना रहता है. Why? Because they are not able to meet their obligations. They have to pay to bank, they have to pay to financial institutions, and they are not able to. And that is the reason most of the companies, they face this crunch crisis in their organization. I'm not saying कि company के पास debt नहीं होना चाहिए, but understand अगर debt है तो the company should be able to manage it properly. Clear? So we would be studying all these ratios, 5 ratios, and under all these categories we would be studying certain ratios. Clear? So we are starting with the first one, that is profitability ratios. That's the first one. So why these ratios, they show how profitable is the business. How profitable is the business, right? And these ratios, they measure the overall performance of a company. How well the company is doing. In last 1 year, what is the performance of a company? Whether it has gone up, gone down, profits have gone up, gone down, profitability has gone up, gone down. This is what we have to see by studying profitability ratios. These ratios examine the profits which are made by the firm and compare these figures with the size of the firm. Are you getting my point? Let's say, for example, a company's turnover. There's a company whose turnover is 100 crore. 100 crore is a turnover, right? And company's profit is 10 crores. This is the profit. This is the turnover, sales. So what is the profit percent? So 10 upon 100 into 100, which is equal to 10% is the profit. 10% of the turnover is the profit. Is it okay? Clear? So what it says, overall performance of the company, but remember, with the size of the firm is important. What is the size? There is a company, let's say its turnover is 50 lakhs, right? And its profit is 10 lakhs. There's a turnover is 50 lakh and the profit is, so what is the profit percent? You can always calculate it. 20%. So which company is doing well? It's a company B is doing well. Is it okay? So the size of the firm is important. Clear? Another is the assets which are employed by the firm. Assets. So we talked about operational efficiency. Company के पास जो भी assets होते हैं उनको efficiently utilize करना चाहिए. So and that will help them in understanding whether the assets, with the help of the asset, they are able to generate more sales or not. Whether they are able to manufacture products or not, right? Whether they are able to utilize their plant and machinery to their fullest capacity or not, right? So profitability ratios, they can be used to examine how well the company is operating, how well the company is doing business, and how well the current performance compares to past records or to other firms within the same industry. Remember, you cannot compare an industry from one industry to another company in another industry. You have to compare the companies within the same industry. And another important thing, you cannot compare a goldfish with a whale, please. Size of the firm matter करता है. तो अगर आप 10 लाख रुपए की वाली कंपनी को 10 करोड़ रुपए वाली या 100 करोड़ की कंपनी के साथ कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते, because size matters. Is it okay? Right? Now, these are the ratios which we would be studying in profitability ratios. There are many ratios are there. बहुत सारे ratios calculate होते हैं, but we are just touching few important ones for all of you to understand. The first ratio is a gross profit ratio. The second is a net profit ratio. The third one is an operating ratio. This operating ratio is an operating expense ratio, right? Then we have a operating profit ratio, return on equity, and then return on investment, return on capital employed. These are the ratios we will be calculating. But remember, all these ratios are calculated in percent. Absolutely. They are all calculated in percent. So we are starting with the first one. Gross profit ratio. Now, some of you have already studied it. Some of you studying for the first time. Now to remember the formula, right, of these ratios, always remember that all profitability ratios, they are in A is to B form. They are in A is to B form, right? A upon B. So there is a numerator and there is a numerator and there is a denominator. Remember, for all these ratios, the denominator is net sales. It's the sales, right? Why we are establishing a relationship between प्रॉफिट एंड सेल्स. कंपनी ने कितना सेल किया और उस सेल करने पे कंपनी को कितना प्रॉफिट हुआ. दैट इज व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू फाइंड आउट द रिलेशनशिप हियर. सो नॉर्मली जो डिनोमिनेटर होगा वो नेट सेल्स होगा. नाउ व्हाट इज द नेट सेल्स? नेट सेल्स इज इक्वल टू टोटल सेल्स माइनस सेल्स रिटर्न. और अगर आपने कुछ सेल्स डिस्काउंट दिया हो तो एक अलग बात है, कैश डिस्काउंट अगर कुछ दिया है तो. अदरवाइज इट इज टोटल सेल्स माइनस सेल्स रिटर्न. दैट इज योर नेट सेल्स. अब डिनोमिनेटर क्या है? डिनोमिनेटर वो होगा जो रेशियो आप कैलकुलेट करोगे वही उसका डिनोमिनेटर होगा. मान लेते हैं इफ यू आर कैलकुलेटिंग ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो, so the denominator will be gross profit. If you are calculating net profit, it is net profit upon net sales. If you are calculating operating profit, it is operating profit upon net sales into 100 and so on. Is it okay or not? Is it clear? Understood? Okay. For the first four ratios, this will be applicable. पहले चार ratios में जो denominator होगा वो क्या होगा? Same होगा. Clear? So let's move to the first one. Gross profit ratio. And the formula to calculate gross profit ratio is gross profit upon net sales into 100. Clear? Right. Now, before we move further in this, let us understand its gross profit ratio is equal to gross profit upon net sales into 100. Net sales, I have told you how to calculate it. That is total sales minus sales return. How do we calculate gross profit? Now, to calculate gross profit, you have to visualize, and I believe all of you have studied financial statement, right? And there you have calculated, you have made a trading account, for example. If you visualize it, let's say this is a trading account, right? On this side we have sales, and on this side we have closing stock. Clear? This side we have opening stock, we have purchases, and we have direct expenses. I hope all of you know the difference between direct and indirect expense. Direct expenses are those which you can attach to a particular product. Indirect expenses are those which you cannot attach to a particular product. Direct expenses are normally incurred in a factory or works or plant, whereas office, indirect expenses, they are always incurred in office. That's a differentiation, kind of a differentiation, right? So if you see, this is the debit side, this is the credit side. Okay. Now, if we have to calculate the gross profit, but before we calculate gross profit, we have to understand one term, that is cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold. We have to learn how to calculate it. Now, cost of goods sold, what you have to do, you have to add this opening stock plus purchase plus direct expense and minus closing stock. So that is a formula used to calculate cost of goods sold. So COGS is equal to opening stock plus purchase plus direct expense minus closing stock. That is one formula to calculate cost of goods sold. Clear? Now, when we make trading account, what we calculate? We calculate gross profit. What we calculate? gross profit, right? Now this is the profit which we calculate. So we have considered these three and we have considered this. So what are we left with? Sales and gross profit. So there is another formula to calculate cost of goods sold. Now cost of goods sold is equal to sales minus gross profit. Sales minus gross profit, and that is another way to calculate cost of goods sold. Is it okay? Clear? Now from here, from this equation, can we derive this, that gross profit is equal to sales minus COGS? We take gross profit this side and we have brought cost of goods sold this side. So gross profit is equal to sales minus cost of goods sold. Clear? Understood? Okay. Now before we move further in this ratio, let us understand, for example, if I say, if a company's gross profit ratio is 20%, what it communicates to you? What it communicates? If a company's gross profit ratio is 20%, what it communicates to you? Right. इसके अलावा anything else apart from this? Okay. What else? If gross profit ratio is 20%, what it communicate to us? Okay. Anyone in the class? Okay. I said gross profit ratio is 20%, right? It means 20 upon 100 into 100? 20 upon 100 into 100. What it means, that my gross profit is 20 and my sales is 100, because that is the formula. So here my cost of goods sold is how much? Sales minus gross profit, which is equal to 100 minus 20, which is equal to 80. Is it okay? Now what happened? So let us now understand one relationship between cost of goods sold and say and gross profit. So this is my COGS, which is equal to sales minus gross profit. In this, my sales is 100, my gross profit is 20, therefore my cost of goods sold is 80. Let's say if I improve it to 30%, right? So which means this is 100 minus 30, which is equal to 70. If I further improve it to 40%, it means 100 minus 40 upon it is 60. So what are we seeing? Here, the moment we reduce our cost of goods sold, our gross profit improves. Is it clear? So from here what we derived is that there is an inverse relationship between gross profit and cost of goods sold. There is an inverse relationship between gross profit and cost of goods sold. So if you have to improve your gross profit, you have to reduce your cost of goods sold. So as an entrepreneur, do you want this ratio to be higher or lower? Higher. You want this ratio to be higher. If you want this ratio to be higher, then you have to control the cost of goods sold. Is it clear or not? Understood? सेल्स बढ़ाने के दो तरीके हैं, या तो नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स बढ़ाइए, नंबर ऑफ यूनिट जो आप बेच रहे हो, सेल कर रहे हो, वो बढ़ाइए, या आप सेलिंग प्राइस बढ़ाइए. यू कैन नॉट इंक्रीज सेलिंग प्राइस. द मोमेंट अगर आप सेलिंग प्राइस इंक्रीज करोगे, व्हाट विल हैपन? यू हैव टू फेस कंपटीशन. कॉम्पिटिटर्स मार्केट में बैठे हैं, तो कस्टमर बेस शिफ्ट हो जाएगा, आप रेवेन्यू लॉस हो जाएगा, राइट? और दूसरा क्या करोगे, या फिर आप क्या करोगे, कॉस्ट को कंट्रोल करोगे. दैट इज इन योर हैंड. सो द मोमेंट द कंपनी स्टार्ट controlling their cost of goods sold, the gross profit will improve. How you can control your cost of goods sold? One, the purchase hai, purchase that you have to, that has to be at reasonable price. Purchase of raw material, it should not be expensive one, right? That's number one. For example, if we talk about आपने मार्केट्स पढ़े होंगे इकोनॉमिक्स में कभी, एक होता है मोनोपोली. मोनोपोली में क्या होता है, जो एक ही सेलर होता है और लार्ज नंबर ऑफ बायर्स होते हैं, तो वो जो प्राइस देता है उसी प्राइस पे हम उसको परचेज करते हैं. लाइक जैसे इंडियन रेलवेज मोनोपोली है. जो भी उस, अगर वो कल बोल दे कि रेल टिकट्स के प्राइसेस बढ़ गए हैं, एंड इफ यू हैव टू ट्रेवल बाय ट्रेन, देन द प्राइसेस whatever has increased, we have to pay it. So it has a monopoly because it has one seller and the large number of buyers are there, right? But in case, for example, if it is a perfect competition, there are large number of buyers and large number of sellers. So here what we have to do, so अगर for example, let me take another example, IRCTC है. अब IRCTC इंडियन रेलवेज तो है, बट उसका कैटरिंग जो है वो उसने आउटसोर्स कर रखा है. इंडियन रेलवेज कोई कैटरिंग नहीं करता है, आउटसोर्स कर रखा है. मान लेते हैं कि उसने आउटसोर्स करा, तो उसने आउटसोर्स करने के लिए किसी वेंडर को अपॉइंट किया होगा, और वेंडर को अपॉइंट करने के लिए उसने बिडिंग करी होगी. क्या करा होगा कंपनी IRCTC ने? बिड किया होगा, टेंडर फ्लोट किया होगा, एंड देयर आर लॉट ऑफ कंपनीज जिन्होंने उस बिड में पार्टिसिपेट किया होगा. अब बिड करने से क्या होता है कि आपका जो प्राइस होता है वो कम हो जाता है, स्लैश कर जाता है. अगर मैं केवल इन्हीं से बिड करके, और ये मुझको इंडियन रेलवेज को कैटरिंग कर रहे हैं, तो वट एवर प्राइस ही वुड बी चार्जिंग, आई वुड बी पेइंग ओनली. बट अगर मैंने बिड किया है, इनका प्राइस अलग है, इनका प्राइस अलग है, एंड देयर आर अदर बिडर्स आल्सो जिनका प्राइस अलग है, तो दैट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विल गो टू दैट बिडर जिसका प्राइस कम होगा, जो प्रोफेशनल होगा, जिसने पहले ये काम किया होगा, एक्सपीरियंस होगा. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? क्लियर? सो दैट इज द रीजन अवर ऑब्जेक्टिव. ये जीपी रेशियो हम लोअर कब कर सकते हैं? हम जीपी रेशियो तब लोअर कर सकते हैं जब हम अपने क्या करेंगे, हम अपने रॉ मटेरियल को परचेज करेंगे एट रीजनेबल प्राइस. नंबर वन. नंबर टू इज दैट हमारे जो प्लांट एंड मशीनरी है उसका जो यूटिलाइजेशन है वो एफिशिएंट होना चाहिए. जिस कैपेसिटी पे हम अपने प्लांट एंड मशीनरी को रन कर सकते हैं, वी शुड यूटिलाइज अवर प्लांट एंड मशीनरी टू इट्स फुलेस्ट. इज इट ओके? वी शुड मैक्सिमम, ये फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ आई बॉट अ प्लांट एंड मशीनरी एंड आई नो दैट आई कैन प्रोड्यूस लेट्स से 20,000 10,000 units in a day, and if I'm just producing 5,000 7,000, means it is underutilization of plant and machinery. My cost will be same, I'm incurring the same cost, but my production is less. If my production is less, my revenue will be less, right? And so मेरा जो per unit जो cost आएगा वो क्या आएगा? Higher होगा. So my profit margins will go down. Is it okay? Right? So as an entrepreneur, we always expect our gross profit ratio to be higher. So higher the gross profit ratio, the better it is for the company. Is it okay? Clear? So there is a problem for you, and I would like all of you to try this problem. 20 minutes, 5 minutes straight for for all the problems, please, which are on the board. 5 minutes. You have to calculate gross profit ratio. The first one is very simple. Gross profit upon revenue from operations multiplied by 100. That's a straight one. So you need to also learn, it's just not calculating the answer, you have to present it in a better manner, right? So 2019, 2020, my sales is how much? 1,60,000. This is 2 lakhs. My gross profit is 40,000 and this is 60,000. The formula for gross profit ratio is 40,000 divided by 1,60,000 into 100. 60,000 divided by 2 lakh into 100. So this is equal to 25% and this is equal to 30%. Now this is, so the in 2019 the company's gross profit ratio is 25% and in 2020 it is 30%, means the company's gross profit ratio has increased. So there are a number of reasons, and gross profit ratio has improved, it has increased, it has gone up. Reason being is because the company is able to work on its cost of goods sold. Absolutely. Let's move down to the second one. You have a gross profit ratio, we have to calculate. You have revenue from operation, that is net sales, and we have gross profit ratio is already given, which is 25% on cost. Yes, which is 25% on cost. 25% is the answer. Okay, I have to check. I do not know. Okay, it is gross profit is given, that is 25% on cost, right? Cost is not given to us in this. So what we can say, let cost be 100. So my gross profit is 25. Therefore my sales is 125. Clear? Understood? My sales is 125. So what it says is, I have my sales. If my sales is 125, my gross profit is 25. If my sales is 1, my gross profit is 25 by 125, and if my sales is, let's say, 6 lakh rupees, then my gross profit is how much? 25 upon 125 into 6 lakh, right? Which is equal to rupees 1 lakh 20,000. So this is my gross profit. This is my gross profit. Clear? So we have to calculate gross profit ratio. GPR is equal to gross profit upon net sales into 100, which is equal to 1,20,000, right? Divided by my sales is how much? 6 lakhs. 6 lakh into 100, which is equal to 20%. So my gross profit ratio is 20%. This one. Okay. What it says is my gross profit is 25% on cost, and cost is not given to us in the problem. So what we have assumed, my cost is 100, right? So 25% of 100 is 25. So what is my selling price is what? Cost price plus profit is my selling price. Clear? So my sales is 125 here. So if my sales is 125, my gross profit is 25. This is a unitary method which we are doing, right? If my sales is 1, my gross profit is 25 upon 125, and then my sales is 6 lakh, then my gross profit is 1,20,000. Substitute the value and get the answer. So your gross profit is 120 upon your sales is 6 lakh into 100, which is equal to 20%. Is it clear? Anyone in the class who has not done it? Obviously, we are not given, so we have to assume. Clear? Okay. Now let's move down to third one. Third one, cash sale is 25% of total sales. Purchases is given to you 6,90,000. Credit sale is given to you 6 lakh. And there's one more information which is given, that is your closing stock is more than opening stock by rupees 50,000. Now, all what we call them word problems, right? But remember, every problem which we will do, we can analyze it. Okay, there's a small one thing which you need to understand here is that whatever company is manufacturing, they are manufacturing to sell it, not to keep it in godown or warehouse, right? Okay, so there is an opening stock and there is a closing stock. I'm sharing two situations with you here. Let's say this is my opening stock is 1 lakh and closing stock is 70,000. Clear? So here inventory has gone up or inventory has gone down? It has gone down. This is what you call decrease in inventory. Now, this is what you call change in inventory. So change could be positive, change could be negative. Now, as a manufacturer, we always want to sell our inventory. We do not want to have inventory in our godown. जो माल बनाएंगे, हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव होता है कि हम उसे बेचें, गोडाउन में ना रखें, वेयर हाउस में ना रखें. Clear? So, if my opening stock is 1 lakh and my closing stock is 70, so what it says? Excess of opening stock over closing is inventory, or it means there is decrease in inventory. It means कंपनी ने इस साल इस फाइनेंशियल ईयर में 30,000 का इन्वेंट्री बेच दिया. क्या कर दिया? बेच दिया. इज इट अ पॉजिटिव साइन और नेगेटिव साइन? पॉजिटिव साइन. तो ये क्या होगा? प्लस होगा. क्लियर? अंडरस्टूड? अगर मैं इसको रिवर्स करूं कि दिस इज 1 लाख एंड दिस इज 1,50,000. कंपनी का ओपनिंग स्टॉक 1 लाख था, क्लोजिंग 150 हो गया. मतलब उसमें भी ओपनिंग में 50,000 रुपए का और स्टॉक एड ऑन हो गया. मतलब कंपनी इज नॉट एबल टू कन्वर्ट इट इनटू सेल्स. बेच नहीं पाई. So it is a good situation for a company or a bad situation for a company? It's a bad situation. Absolutely. Right? So यहां पे आपका क्या हुआ? Increase in inventory हो गया. Increase in inventory हो गया. Is it okay? तो ये क्या होगा? Minus. Change है, but this is what excess of what it says. Excess of closing stock or closing inventory over opening inventory. ये दोनों situations हैं. Clear है? Understood? Okay, fine. Now, can we do this problem now? I'm giving you 2 minutes to solve now. Ab kariye. I've already given you the concept. Either there is an increase in inventory or there is decrease in inventory. If there is decrease in inventory, it has to be added. If there is an increase in inventory, it has to be subtracted. Apply yourself. अभी हम कोई एनालिसिस नहीं कर रहे हैं. यू हैव टू लर्न टू कैलकुलेट इट प्लीज. और मैंने आपको कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड का एग्जांपल इक्वेशन भी दिया है. कीप इट इन दैट माइंड. कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड का एग्जांपल. ओके, हमें ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो निकालना है ना. ओके, फाइन. So to calculate gross profit ratio, what we have to calculate? Gross profit and net sales into 100. This is the formula. So we need to have gross profit and net sales. Question says, okay, total sales is equal to what? Total sales is equal to cash sale plus credit sales. Great, right? Now total sales is not given to me, right? So what we have to see, you are given cash sales. Cash sale is 25% of total sales plus credit sale is given to you, that is 6,90,000. Clear? This is 1 by 4. So TS minus 1 by 4 TS is equal to rupees 6 lakhs. Okay, 6 lakhs. This is 6 lakhs. Okay, this is given to us, right? This is 3 by 4 TS, which is equal to rupees 6 lakh. So that implies, therefore, my total sales is equal to 8 lakhs. This is what we have calculated here. So our total sales is 8 lakh rupees. Is it clear? So your total sales is equal to cash sale plus credit sale, right? So total sales is 8 lakh rupees. Now we have to, we have got net sales, we have got. Now next thing which we have to calculate is gross profit. So gross profit, the formula is sales minus cost of goods sold. Is it okay? And what is my cost of goods sold? Cost of goods sold is opening stock plus purchase plus direct expense minus closing stock. Clear? Is it okay? Right. So here what we saw, and this information is given to us, excess of closing stock over opening inventory. If I don't use that concept which I have given you, what it says that my closing stock is, it is more than 50,000 than opening inventory. This is an equation. So what I can do, let me substitute this equation here. Can I do that? Can I do this? In place of this closing stock, I can write opening stock plus 50,000. Right. So my cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchases how much? 6,90,000 plus direct expenses not given to us, that is 0, minus opening stock plus 50,000. Is it okay? If I open it, how much it comes to? Opening stock plus 6,90,000 minus opening stock minus 50,000. Opening stock gets cancelled, which is equal to 6,40,000 is your cost of goods sold. Is your cost of goods sold. So from here, what you have calculated is your cost of goods sold is 640. What I have done here is, this statement I have put it in an equation form. What it says that your closing stock is more than opening inventory by 50,000 rupees. Any doubt till this point, please? Cost of goods sold is opening stock plus purchase plus direct expense minus closing stock. माइनस क्लोजिंग स्टॉक. हाँ, क्योंकि दिया ही नहीं है तो इसलिए जीरो है. Anything which is not given to you in the problem, you consider it as that this is zero. It doesn't have any value there in that problem. Is it okay? Any doubt? So what we have done, we have calculated cost of goods sold, we have calculated total sales, right? So gross profit is equal to total sales minus cost of goods sold. My total sales is 8 lakhs and my gross cost of goods sold is 6,40,000. Therefore, gross profit is 160. Substitute the value in the In the formula, gross profit ratio is equal to 1,60,000 divided by 8 lakhs into 100, which is equal to 20%. So the gross profit ratio is 20%. Is it clear? Is it okay? Right. So this is gross profit ratio. If you have completed the first one, okay. Now moving down to the second one, that is net profit ratio. And the formula for net profit ratio is net profit upon net sales into 100. All right. Easy to remember the formula? Okay. Now this ratio, it establishes the relationship between net profit and net sales. Right. What this ratio communicates? This ratio communicates that a company has sold 1 rupees sale is there. If a company has 1 rupee sale is there, how much net profit the company is able to generate from it. अगर कंपनी ने 1 रुपये का सेल किया है तो कंपनी को कितना नेट प्रॉफिट उस पे हुआ है. Is it okay? So this ratio, it indicates the overall efficiency of the business. Remember, ultimate objective of any company which is working, their objective is to earn profit or to maximize profit, right? And profit, we know how it is calculated. Now, if you remember, we have studied only one type of gross profit till now, that is gross profit. Now, another profit we are coming to is net profit. If you remember the income statement or statement of profit and loss account, which you have made, right, which you have learned in your previous class, visualize it. You have a profit and loss account, right? So here you have gross profit, okay, and here you have indirect expenses, all indirect expenses, and maybe you have some other source of income also, other source of income. If you add these and if you subtract this from there, what you get is net profit, right? How do you calculate net profit? So net profit is equal to gross profit minus indirect expenses, majorly. This is the equation. But if you have any other source of income, then you have to add it in this. So this is an equation to calculate net profit. Plus, you can always have other source of income. So gross profit plus this minus this, what you will get? Net profit. Clear? Now, again, we always expect our net profit ratio to be higher, right? An increase in NPR over the previous year, what it indicates? That the company's operational efficiency has improved. Company's operational efficiency has improved. Company is able to manage its cost, company is able to manage its expenses, company is able to control their expenses, and that is the reason their net profit has gone up. And net profit बढ़ेगा तो net profit ratio भी बढ़ेगा. Is it okay? Right. Clear? Do it please. 5 minutes. It's very easy, fast. Do it fast. The gross profit ratio of a company was 25%. Its cash sales were 22 lakh. Credit sale was 90% total sales. Indirect expenses were 20,000. You have to calculate net profit ratio. So completed the first one. So what it says is the gross profit ratio is 25%. Cash sale is 2 lakh and credit sale is 90% of total sales. So let's say total sales is equal to cash sale plus credit sales, right? So total sales is equal to, my cash sale is given to us, that is in this problem, which is 2 lakh, plus credit sale is 90% of total sales, 90% of total sales. So let us take this on this side. So TS minus 9 upon 10, TS is equal to rupees 2 lakh, right? Therefore, 1 by 10 TS is equal to rupees 2 lakh. Therefore, total sales is equal to rupees 20 lakhs. So we have calculated total sales. We have calculated total sales. Is it okay? Gross profit ratio is already given to you, which is 25%. Clear? So GPR is equal to gross profit upon net sales into 100. It is already given to us, which is 25%, which is equal to gross profit upon net sales is 20 lakhs. Therefore, gross profit is equal to 25 upon 100 into 20 lakhs. How much it comes to? Therefore, gross profit is equal to rupees 5 lakhs. Your gross profit is 5 lakh rupees. Is it okay? Clear? Right? Now, this is not visible while writing. Okay, fine. What I am trying to say here is, your total sales is cash sale plus credit sale. Total sales is equal to, cash sale is already given, which is 2 lakh, and your credit sale is 90% of total sales, right? What I have done is, I have taken this on this side, TS minus 9 upon 10 TS is equal to 2 lakh. So my total sales it has come is to 20 lakh. It's simple maths, right? We are given gross profit ratio. Gross profit ratio is how much? 25%. It is given to us. So the formula for gross profit ratio is gross profit upon net sales into 100. So gross profit we do not know, sales we know. Sales we have already calculated here. So 25% of 20 lakh is 5 lakh. So we have calculated gross profit here. Is it okay? Any doubt till this point? Okay, let's move further. So gross profit is 5 lakh. Indirect expenses is given to us in the problem, which is equal to rupees 20,000. Therefore, net profit is equal to gross profit minus indirect expenses. Gross profit minus indirect expenses, which is equal to 5 lakh minus 20,000. So therefore, net profit is equal to rupees 4,80,000. Is it okay? Clear? Right. Now we have to calculate net profit ratio. Net profit ratio is equal to net profit upon net sales into 100, which is equal to 4,80,000 divided by your total sales was how much? 20 lakhs into 100, which is equal to 24%. So your net profit ratio is 24%. Is it okay? All right. And the next one is very easy. So we are given sales, we are given gross profit also. If we visualize this profit and loss account, right, gross profit is given to us, which is 2 lakh. We are given salaries and wages. How much? 45,000. We are given advertisement expenses, 10,000. We are also given interest, 5,000. And there is a rental income, right? The company has received rent, right? Rent, which is how much? 60,000. If we total it, this is 2 lakh 60,000, and this is also this has to be 260, and therefore the net profit is 2 lakh rupees. Your net profit is 2 lakh rupees. Apply the formula straight. Net profit ratio is equal to net profit upon net sales into 100, which is equal to 2 lakh divided by net sales is how much? 5 lakh into 100. How much it is? 40%. So your net profit ratio is 40%. Now all these calculations are easy, but as an MBA student, you need to learn to analyze it. Analysis is important. Right now we are just trying to make you understand how to calculate it, right? We are moving down to the third one, that is operating expense ratio. Another very important ratio, because we are only talking about sales and sales. हम कह रहे हैं कि सेल्स बढ़ाना चाहिए, प्रॉफिट बढ़ेगा, सेल्स बढ़ाना चाहिए, प्रॉफिट बढ़ेगा. But this is a very important ratio, because this ratio talks about operating expense, right? This is an expense ratio. So as it is an expense ratio, do you want this ratio to be higher or lower? Lower. Profit ratios need to be higher, expense ratios need to be lower, right? The formula to calculate operating expense ratio is operating expense upon net sales into 100. Now question arises how operating expense is to be calculated. But remember, before I tell you what is operating expense and how it is calculated, remember this, that this ratio, it reflects the operating efficiency of the business. It reflects how well the company is able to utilize its assets, how well the company is able to utilize its working capital. So this ratio is very, very important, right? Operating expenses are incurred for operating activities of the business, right? And remember, this ratio, if it is higher, the profit ratio will go down, and it would be very difficult for the company to meet its financial cost, that is interest and dividend. So we always expect operating expense ratio to be lower, right? Now, let us understand how this operating expense is calculated. Operating expense is equal to what it comprises of. It comprises of cost of goods sold plus administrative expenses, right? Plus selling expenses plus distribution expenses. So all these expenses, if we club them, what we get is an operating expense. We have already learned how to calculate cost of goods sold, and there are three more expenses are there. Administrative expense, in some book you will find general expenses also. They are same, right? So administrative expense plus selling expenses and administrative expenses, that is what you call operating expense. No, they are not direct, indirect. No. Miscellaneous expenditure never comes here. It's an office fund, right? So this ratio, it has to be lower. The lower it is, the better it is for the company, because it leaves profit margin to meet the interest cost and dividend cost of the company. कंपनी को अगर ये रेशियो जितना कम होगा उतना कंपनी के लिए बेटर होगा, बिकॉज कंपनी के पास प्रॉफिट मार्जिन बच ज़्यादा होगा और उस प्रॉफिट मार्जिन से कंपनी अपनी फाइनेंशियल कॉस्ट मीट कर सकती है. क्लियर, राइट? Now let's move further. If you see this operating, the first line, if you talk about the first two lines, they're very important. The first two lines, it says that operating profit ratio and operating ratio, they are complementary to each other. Operating expense ratio and operating profit ratio, they are complementary to each other. Means their sum of these two ratio, it has to be equal to 100. And it is said, कंपनी अगर बिजनेस करती है और उसे अगर ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट नहीं होता, ऑपरेशनल लॉस होता है, देन देयर इज नो पॉइंट इन डूइंग बिजनेस. नेट लॉस हो जाए कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ऑपरेशनल लॉस नहीं होना चाहिए. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? अंडरस्टूड? सो ऑपरेशनल लॉस अगर हो रहा है, नो पॉइंट इन डूइंग और कैरिंग द बिजनेस फर्दर. सो जितना ऑपरेटिंग रेशियो ज्यादा होगा, ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट रेशियो उतना कम होगा. So there is an inverse relationship between operating expense ratio and operating profit ratio. So operating profit plus operating expense ratio is equal to 100. Is it okay? Is it clear? Understood? Right? Problem, please do it. The important thing is here, you have to calculate cost of goods sold first. You have to calculate cost of goods sold, then add selling expenses and administrative expenses. Only then you will get an operating expense, and then you can apply in the formula. It's the same thing. No, no, it rate of gross profit on cost is 25%, it says. Whether you, yeah, it is just an information to given to you so that हम मानते हैं कि वो सेल्स पे है एब्सोल्युटली, बट क्वेश्चन ये डिफाइन कर रहा है कि ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट जो है इट इज 25% ऑन कॉस्ट. यस 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 एब्सोल्युटली, बिल्कुल सेल्स पे रहता है. अगर मैं आपको केवल देता ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो इज 25%, इफ दिस प्रॉब्लम वुड हैव स्टेटेड ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो इज 25%, कम अगेन, ऑन सेल्स भी नहीं लिखेगा. अगर वो लिखेगा ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट रेशियो इज 25%, इट मींस 25% ऑन सेल्स. Here it has mentioned that it is 20% or 25% on cost. Mention कर रखा है. So yes yes yes. So अगर मेरी in this problem, let's say my cost is rupees 100, so my gross profit is rupees 25, so my sales is how much? 125. Is it okay? Right? So if my sales is 125, my gross profit is 25, 125 upon 125, and my sales is, if my sales is 6,80,000, so 25 upon 125 into 6,80,000. How much it comes to? 1,36,000. That is my gross profit. That is my gross profit. So from here, if I have to calculate cost of goods sold, then sales minus gross profit, which is equal to, sales is 6,80,000 minus 1,36,000, which is equal to rupees 5,44,000 is your cost of goods sold. This is the first thing which you have to calculate here. This is the first thing which you have to calculate. So my cost is 100, my gross profit is 25% on cost. So my sales is 125. Using the same method, what we calculated gross profit is 1,36,000. Apply this equation, cost of goods sold is equal to sales minus gross profit. So my cost of goods sold is 5,44,000. That is total sales minus gross profit. Is it okay? Clear? Now, we have calculated cost of goods sold. Okay. So operating expense is equal to cost of goods sold, which is equal to rupees 5,44,000. Selling expenses is equal to rupees 1,44,000, and admin expenses is equal to rupees 73,000. So the total, if you see, 7,61,000. Right? This is your operating. Apply the formula. Operating ratio is equal to operating expense upon net sales into 100, right? Which is equal to 7,61,000 divided by sales is 6,80,000 into 100. How much it comes to? 111, whatever it is, approximately this much. 111.89 or 111.9%. Is it okay? So this what it shows, like I said, operating ratio plus operating profit ratio, it has to be equal to 100%. Now it is already 111.9%. It means my operating profit would be in negative. It would be 11.9% negative, only then it will be equal to 100. It means there is no point in doing business because the company is having an operational loss. Is it clear? Right? You can move down to the second one. Move down to the second one. You have to calculate operating ratio, please. You do it. Done? What are you waiting for? थोड़ा different है. We have to calculate operating expense ratio. Operating expense ratio, and the formula for this is operating expense upon net sales into 100, right? So if we have to calculate operating expense here, what are the items which we have to include here? Cost of material consumed, plus, why finance cost? Is finance cost an operational cost? No, that is a financial cost, right? Then understand, you what is operating expense? I have told you, it is cost of goods sold plus admin plus selling and distribution. And what is this? Change in inventory, excess of opening stock, then closing stock. Are you getting my point? And this is a plus sign, therefore what happened? What has happened? There is decrease. No, there is decrease in inventory. Decrease in inventory. Your opening stock is less than your closing stock here. So add करेंगे क्या चीज? Changes in inventories of finished goods and work in progress. Next, what is there? Employees benefit expenses. Which expenses are these? एम्प्लॉय बेनिफिट कहीं पे भी हो सकता है, एडमिन एम्प्लॉयज को भी हो सकता है और सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के एम्प्लॉयज को भी हो सकता है. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? सो प्लस एम्प्लॉयज बेनिफिट expenses राइट। लेकिन अगर मैं केवल इसको ऐड करूं, केवल इन दो को ऐड करूं, तो व्हाट आई विल गेट? कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड। इसमें अगर मैं ये ऐड कर दूंगा एंड प्लस अदर एक्सपेंसेस ऐड कर दूंगा, तो व्हाट आई विल गेट? ऑपरेटिंग expense. Is it clear or not? If I add cost of material consumed and change in inventories, what I will get? Cost of, remember, equation मैंने जो whatever equation we have used up till now, sometime in a problem you are not using that equation. So here you have to, whatever you have learned as a concept, you have to learn to apply it. There is no opening stock, there is no closing stock, there is no direct expense, nothing. These terminologies are not used in this problem. But here you have to define, you have to talk to yourself, what is this? Is cost of material consumed? Is it a purchase or not? Is it a purchase or not? Okay. How do we derive this cost of material consumed? Anyone in the class? How do we derive this cost of material consumed? Very good. So we have an opening stock of raw material. We have opening stock of raw material plus purchase of raw material, and from here we subtract closing stock of raw material. What we get is raw material consumed. Let's say we have an opening stock of raw material 100 kg and we purchase another 100 kg and closing stock was 70 kg. So what it means that 130 kg material, it has been consumed during the financial year. Is it clear? Understood? So cost of material consumed plus change in inventories of finished goods and work in progress is what we call is the cost of goods sold here in this problem. And add these two with this, that is employee benefit expense and other expense. How much is your operating expense coming to? Add this, this, this and this. 13 lakh 75,000. That is your operating expense ratio. Operating expense. Now you have to calculate operating expense ratio. Substitute the value here. 13 lakh 75,000 divided by 20 lakhs into 100. How much it is? 67.5%, or 57, whatever it is. 68% is there. This is your operating expense ratio. It is your operating expense ratio. Is it clear, class? Understood? Just one, this is slide, last slide. Now this is the fourth one, and this is operating profit ratio. Operating profit ratio. And we know that operating expense ratio plus operating profit ratio, it has to be equal to 100. Like in this, we have calculated operating expense ratio is 68.75%. So our operating profit ratio will be 31.25%. Absolutely. Is it okay? Right? Okay. Now the formula is very clear. That is operating profit upon net sales into 100. Clear? Now there are two ways to calculate net operating profit. There are two ways to calculate operating profit. One from the gross profit side, another from the net profit side. But remember, whichever method you will use, your operating profit, it has to be same. आप कोई भी मेथड यूज करिए, आपका ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट सेम होना चाहिए. अगर आप विजुअलाइज करो प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट को, फॉर्मूला याद करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. This is your profit and loss account. Okay. In this, let us say you have gross profit. Clear? Here you have indirect expense. Clear? And apart from this, on this side itself, you will have non-operating expense. Here you will have non-operating income. Here you get net profit after this. Clear? Two ways to calculate. अगर हम ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट से चल रहे हैं तो ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट की साइड क्या है? Remember, this is an income side and this is an, okay, before I move further, नॉन ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस होता है, एक नॉन ऑपरेटिंग इनकम होता है. ये ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस नहीं है और ऑपरेटिंग इनकम नहीं है, ये नॉन ऑपरेटिंग है. मतलब नॉन ऑपरेटिंग का मतलब है ये नॉन रेकरिंग नेचर के होते हैं, रेकरिंग नेचर के नहीं होते, डेली नहीं होते, ये फ्रीक्वेंटली कभी हो गए, ओकेजनली हो गए तो हो गए. दे आर व्हाट वी कॉल देम नॉन ऑपरेटिंग इनकम एंड नॉन ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस. जस्ट टू गिव यू एन एग्जांपल ऑफ नॉन ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस, जैसे कंपनी के एसेट्स होते हैं. अब टेक्नोलॉजी बदल गई तो यू वांट टू रिप्लेस इट विद अ न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी, आप उसे मार्केट में जाते हो, बेच देते हो, राइट? सो उस पे आपको क्या होगा, उसको उस पे या तो आपको प्रॉफिट होगा या उस पे आपको लॉस होगा. अगर प्रॉफिट होता है तो वो क्या है? नॉन ऑपरेटिंग इनकम. और अगर लॉस होता है तो उस पे क्या होगा? नॉन ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस. इज इट ओके? सिमिलरली इन्वेस्टमेंट है. मान लेते मैंने किसी कंपनी के शेयर खरीदे, अब मुझे पैसों की जरूरत पड़ गई, या तो जिस प्राइस पे परचेज करे थे उससे ज्यादा का प्राइस मार्केट में होगा या उससे कम का प्राइस होगा. अगर मैंने उसके ज्यादा पे बेचा तो मुझे क्या होगा? प्रॉफिट. और अगर उससे कम पे बेचा तो लॉस. बट रिमेंबर, these non-operating income and non-operating expenses, they do not occur on a daily basis. Is it okay? They do not occur every day. They are occasionally, कभी हो गया, जरूरत पड़ी तो हो गया. Is it okay? So अगर मैं ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट की तरफ से चलता हूं तो ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट की तरफ क्या है? नॉन ऑपरेटिंग इनकम. क्या करा मैंने? उसको ऐड करा. क्लियर है? और इसमें से माइनस क्या कर दिया? एब्सोल्युटली, केवल नॉन ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस माइनस किया तो मेरा क्या आया? ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट आ गया. अगर मैं नेट प्रॉफिट की साइड से चलता हूं तो नेट प्रॉफिट में क्या ऐड करूंगा? नॉन ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस ऐड करूंगा और माइनस क्या करूंगा? नॉन ऑपरेटिंग इनकम, जो ऑपोजिट साइड है. दैट इज हाउ, व्हाट विच एवर वे यू यूज, योर ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट विल रिमेन सेम. इज इट ओके? अंडरस्टूड? सो ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट इज इक्वल टू रेवेन्यू. टोटल सेल्स में से आपने अगर ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट माइनस कर दी तो आपको क्या आएगा? ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट आएगा. और ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट में आपको बता चुका हूं, ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस क्या होते हैं? कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड प्लस अदर ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंसेस. इज इट ओके? ओके, सॉरी, ये अच्छा, फाइन. दिस रेशियो इज अ प्रॉफिट रेशियो. यू वांट दिस रेशियो टू बी हायर और लोअर? Higher. Every profit ratio it has to be higher, every expense ratio it has to be lower. Is it okay? Right? So that is all for the day, right? And we will try to complete other ratios in the next class.